Hello everyone, Coming Clean here. I recently won an online auction of the Skylanders Imaginators starter pack for PS4, along with some sensei figures that are quite rare in my region. I have the box right here. Let's get it open. Alright, the box is now open, and on top of it all we have the Skylanders Imaginators game for PS4. I already owned it for 360, but the PS4 version is quite rare in my region, so I'm very happy about this one. If we keep digging, we find, of course, the portal, and obviously also Kingpin and Golden Queen. We also have Barbella that I actually owned previously. And here we have a couple of creation crystals that are already used, unfortunately. Now to the main attractions for me. Here we have TriTip and Ambush. From a design perspective, these two are probably my favorite senseis so far. I was actually going to wait to play Imaginators until I played all other 5 games, but these two sensei got me a little bit too excited, so I'm actually going to pop them on the portal right now and give you my impressions. I'm going to start off with TriTip.
Face the mace! Here, try!
TriTip is of the Earth element and the Smasher battle class. I really like the character design, even if it is as simple as a Triceratops with a giant mace. He initially felt quite sluggish in both his movement and in the swings he performed with his primary attack. It did, however, feel like his attacks packed a lot of punch, and it was a great feeling to smack multiple enemies with a single swing of his club. I did manage to play enough to unlock some of his first few abilities, and one of them lets you charge his primary attack. As you can't move, it does leave you vulnerable for a while, but this fact was compensated for by the sheer satisfaction of being able to smack multiple enemies with his giant baseball swing. It also pushes weaker enemies quite far away from you and possibly also off cliffs and platforms. TriTip's secondary attack is a true Triceratops gimmick, as he places both hands on the ground and then charges forward. The move does have a long startup animation, but travels far and deals heavy damage. By pressing the secondary attack button in the air, you make TriTip perform a ground pound for area of effect damage. His third ability shoots fossils through the ground that traps enemies that come into contact with them. This move also leaves you immobile during the startup animation. The top path of his upgrade tree makes your main combo more powerful, and the bottom path enhances his secondary and third attack. TriTip is a classic powerhouse archetype with high stats in both defense and attack. Obviously, he's lacking in the movement department, even if the secondary attack does give you a momentary burst of speed. Positioning and timing seems to be very important when playing TriTip, as many of his attacks have long startup and recovery animation that leaves you open to attacks from your enemies. To be as successful as possible with him, you're going to have to keep a close eye at your enemies and be careful when unleashing your most powerful attacks. You don't want to find yourself locked in place in front of a non-flinching enemy just as they charge up an attack of their own.
Those were my initial impressions on TriTip. Before we move on, let me just briefly mention that I upload content weekly about Skylanders and also about other games. If you think that's something that you'll enjoy, then consider subscribing. Now let's move on to my impressions on Ambush.
Tweet him and read me. What'd I miss? Do you think those things too?
Ambush is a sensei of the life element and the night battle class. He moves very gracefully with a fluent movement pattern that reminds me of Chinese sword fighting or wushu. He stops in different poses depending on after which attack you interrupt his combo. This makes for some great selfie opportunities. Speaking of the poses, one of the first upgrades you can unlock for him makes his consecutive attack in his main combo more powerful if you pause slightly mid-combo. This is a great mechanic since it rewards you for being patient and mindful of your enemy's attack patterns. The mechanic is most commonly seen in hack and slash games, but it was also a big part of Disney Infinity 3.0 as a matter of fact. You can also hold the main attack button to spin around in the air in a multi-slash attack. Ambush's second attack launches him forward along with a wave of bamboo. This attack damages and stuns your enemies, and it synergizes well with his main combo and also adds some crowd control to his repertoire. Ambush's third attack also sprouts bamboo from the ground, but this time around him as it launches weaker enemies away. A useful tool for when you're surrounded, which I imagine happens a lot when you're playing as Ambush considering his aggressive moveset. Similar to TriTip, the top path of the upgrade tree enhances Ambush's main attack and gives you more abilities to use mid-combo. The lower path makes your secondary and third attacks more powerful. Ambush's stats are those typical of the classic glass cannon with high attack and low defense. His animations are spot on and he almost dances across the battlefield. I found him very enjoyable to play, mainly because the strategic thinking involved in determining when to use the delay mechanic of his main attack combo. Even though he can't take that much punishment, you can use his secondary attack both offensively and as an escape option.
Out of these two characters, I would have to say that Ambush is probably my favorite, but that's mainly because he suits me best both design and gameplay wise. TriTip was also a lot of fun and they both play very differently, so I can see myself switching between them depending on the situation. Now I have some questions for you. Do you own any of these senseis? What do you think about them? Which of their upgrade paths are the best? Please let me know in the comments. That's actually it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Coming Clean and I will see you next time. Take care.